Hello my friends and welcome back to All the Mods 10. Today we're going to be getting into some computers to significantly upgrade our storage system. We're going to be upgrading our source farm and we are going to be going to the nether today. So lots of exciting stuff planned. Let's jump right into it. So first things first, I've set aside some materials for us to make things just that little bit easier to keep track of. So the first thing, we're going to grab this stuff up here, and in the mod sophisticated storage, we have what's called a storage IO. That means input output, and this can essentially create a multi-block for our storage system. It will link a whole bunch of chests together, so we can access all of them from one spot, essentially. So take some stone, a redstone repeater, a sophisticated storage barrel, some planks, and some gold. So not super expensive right off the bat. But let's throw one of these together. And now how this works is I left this gap in between these chests intentionally. We throw this down in between, and now this storage IO is now connected to every chest that is not only touching it, but touching a chest that it's connected to out to 14 blocks away. So this is a very powerful early game, basically an ME system. But if we click on it, you see nothing happens. We need to create a monitor in order to access that. Now, the monitors are part of the that I'm going to use specifically are part of the integrated dynamics mod pack, and we haven't gotten into it, so there's some progression we'll need to do to start off. So I'll throw down some of these mineral saplings here, and while they're starting to grow a little bit, we're going to make two of the first stations for this mod. The first one is the squeezer here, and that's just gonna crush things. It's relatively self-explanatory. Can be kind of difficult to use sometimes, but and then the other one here is the drying basin. And then with these two set up, we'll be pretty good to go for that. So, the squeezer goes down, and you can see in the bottom there's these little channels. We want our drying basin to be lined up with one of the channels, and then we'll want to throw a button down, because when this squeezer squeezes all the way down, we'll need a redstone pulse to reactivate it. So I'm going to grow some of these trees here, and we'll be back in just a sec. Alright, so as you can see, we've now got some mineral berries, a couple of mineral chunks, and a bunch of mineral logs, and these were kind of what we're looking for to start off with. So the first thing we're going to need to make is an item interface. This is relatively easy. Just takes a chest and some mineral chunks, which we've got there. This is going to be relatively simple, as long as I have the wood for it. And when you make these, you do get 4 of them, so that's kind of helpful, but we're really only going to need one for the time being. So, we've got that step. The next piece is the logic cable, which takes a piece of redstone and some more of those mineral chunks. However, we don't have that many, and mining trees to get mineral chunks is really tedious. So we'll throw the logs in there, and if we jump on top of this, we can squeeze it down, and it fills this drying basin with resin. Now, as that dries, it's going to create a block of crystallized mineral that we can break down into these chunks. Very simple, very easy. And then to reset the squeezer, as I was saying earlier, we just give it a redstone pulse. And we're back to square one there. So, with these, I gotta go grab some redstone. Hello. There we go. We just need one for now. And some sticks. And then we can throw the sticks in on the side, the redstone in the middle, and bada bing, bada boom. We now have logic cables. The last step for this process is going to be crafting the storage terminal. Now this is going to be a little bit more difficult, and as you can see, it takes mineral glass. Now this, it's a similar process, except we throw glass in our drying basin before we squeeze our log. So now we got the glass in there, and we can jump up and down on this. And as that dries out, it will turn into mineral glass. Look at that. Now, there's a couple of other pieces for this. These transformers, relatively simple. Hardest part is probably going to be the slime ball for that sticky piston. Let me look through and see if I have one actually. Well, no slime ball, but I do happen to have a slime spawn egg. So we can just drop that down and play a little bit of whack-a-mole. And we got a couple of slime balls there. So that was relatively easy. Seems like most of what we're going to need are these output variable transformers. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those and 1 of the input variable transformers. So that's a total of 5 pistons, 1 of which will be sticky. Alright. And then we'll make 1 of these into a sticky piston. Now, to turn these pistons into transformers, we need variable cards, which are super easy to make. It's more that crystallized mineral with a little bit of paper. Okay, so we'll throw some of this crystallized mineral around a piece of paper, and now we've got these variable cards that we were looking for. So we should be able to throw the mineral on the sides, and oh, look at that. Apparently we only needed to make 1. Because it gives us 4. Okay, well that's easy. And then I believe we do the same thing with a sticky piston for the input variable transformer. The static panels take a redstone and some berries. The berries we get from the leaves of the trees. So those are also relatively simple. Alright, we got 2 of those. We got 1 of those. And all that is left is some glowstone, which I believe we collected from raiding a couple of temples the other day. There it is. There was an underground thing. So, now we have all of the components that we need for our our system here. So we're going to take this item interface, and so this essentially, how this works is we have our chests that are storing items. This storage IO connects to them and allows us to read those. The item interface allows us to read the storage IO. A logic cable acts as a connector, and then this storage terminal goes on the front there, and this allows us, as the player, to read the inventory. Well, it would appear that I have diddly done goofed-did, because the storage IO was most definitely not what we were looking for. We needed a storage controller, and that requires nether quartz, which we do not have at present. So, looks like it's time to go to the nether, which is something we had planned on doing today, but now we can actually get it done. Instead of using a flint and steel, though, I'm going to make a new glyph. It's called Ignite, and it's essentially a flint and steel. So, there we go. It'll throw that together for us. Bada bing, bada boom. And now we can create a little firebolt there. Awesome. And I already created a little hole area for this portal to go. Boom. Look at that. So I'm going to grab some cobblestone to protect our portal on the other side, and then we will throw that through. Alright, cobblestone acquired. I also had a spare waystone here, and we can put that on the other side and essentially allow teleportation with our waystones as well, instead of having to go through the portal every time. So, let's see how this goes. Seem to be in a pretty decent spot. That guy could be annoying, but so it looks like piglins don't attack us when we're wearing mage armor. That is pretty sweet. So I'll grab a little bit of quartz here. Oh, hi. Got him. And while I was building this, I noticed over there that is vibranium, which we'll need to use for later, but that is awesome that it's right there. Looks like our magic mirror is very angry with us because we're in the wrong dimension. But that's pretty funny. Alright. Throw this down right here. Nether base. Bada bing, bada boom. And now we can click that and go home. Boom. But now we have this quartz here. We can make this storage controller. Alright, with that nether quartz, I have crafted up some of these redstone comparators, so we can throw those in the top, stone in the corners, a sophisticated storage chest in the middle, and oak or some manner of planks on the sides. And that gets us the storage controller that we needed. Now, if we click in here, we can see all of our things that are in the adjacent chests. I'm going to sort them by sort by item stack, descending. So now all of the things we have the most of are going to be over here. The things we have the least of is going to be down in the corner. And it even comes with a built-in crafting table. So this is going to make things very easy. We can throw all this back in here. And now everything that we should need is going to be in here. I do want to add onto it a little bit because there's only so much that we can store because it's limited by the space in these, and you can see they're starting to fill up. So I'm going to throw these in here, make some iron barrels, and then some gold barrels. And then we can just slap these down back behind here, and they will automatically connect to our storage network, giving us a bit more space. So there's that. The last thing we're planning on doing today is setting up some automation for source production. So let me get that all ready, and we'll get it all figured out. Alright, so our first step in this process is obtaining a Starbuncle charm. We have a Starbuncle token that we looted earlier, but those can usually be obtained by finding a wild Starbuncle and giving it a golden nugget. But if we surround it with gold like this and then throw it into the enchanting apparatus, this will give us a Starbuncle charm. Look at that. Now this is pretty cool because it essentially allows us to spawn a familiarized Starbuncle. And they're little squirrel guys. They're adorable. But the next step is the mycelial source link. Those are pretty easy to craft. Mushroom stew was kind of the hardest part of that, actually finding the mushrooms. But we found some in some chests earlier, looting. So that was, I suppose, not too difficult. But this essentially eats food and produces source from that. The last thing we'll need is a splitter version of the source relay. So we can create our source relay like this, and then to turn it into the splitter, we put it in the enchanting apparatus with 4 quartz and 4 lapis lazuli. So we surround it just like this and throw our source relay in the middle, and those will all combine to make it the splitter version of the source relay. And this essentially creates wires for us for transferring our source through different places. In order to control this, however, we need a wand, specifically the Dominion wand from Ars Nouveau, and that uses the enchanting apparatus with 2 source gems and some gold. So we'll throw the gold down there, 2 source gems, and a stick in the middle. And that'll combine those all into our Dominion wand. The funny thing about ours is it claims to be a magic mod, but in reality, it's more of a tech mod that's been reskinned. And so most things that happen in it, you can equate to a tech mod. This is a big, almost an auto crafter. You have batteries. You've got power sources, wires. This is essentially a wrench. So it's essentially a tech mod. So for this part, I'm gonna throw. Let's see. We'll start in this corner here, and I'll just do 5 like that, and 5 like that. So then this can go there, and then we'll throw more source berries down like this. And a source jar on top. Oh, I would prefer if that was on top. Thanks, there we go. So now that, when these grow, will automatically deposit into that source jar there. Okay, now we can take this mycelial source link, throw that down here. Oh, I should have grabbed a pedestal. I need to go make an arcane pedestal. Give me just a sec. Okay, I also grabbed a hopper while I was there. So for this, we can throw the arcane pedestal down here with a hopper feeding into it and a chest on top. So now anything in this chest will go into this arcane pedestal and be fed to this mycelial source link. So that's generating. This will be generating. If you see, I throw some of those in there. They go into the pedestal and get eaten by this source link, giving us more source. So this essentially kind of combines together with no waste except for, I suppose, the space. But now you see that that source berry has grown, so we need a way to automatically harvest it. And that is what the Starbuncle charm is for. So if we right click with the Dominion wand and then right click onto the chest, see, Starbuncle will store items here. So he should, I believe, go and pick up this source berry. Boom. And automatically gets fed to this source generator here. So that is now fully automated. The last thing we're going to need to do is move our source over to where we can use it. So on top of this chest, I'll throw our splitter. Now if we right click on this source jar to there, it will take from those jars. And then if we right click here, it will dump into these jars. And the reason we needed a splitter version is because that allows it to take from and deposit to multiple different jars. Otherwise, it only does the one. So now we have automatic source generation that essentially takes care of itself with our cute little guy here. Isn't he so adorable? I think you can even dye them. Let me check and see if we have any blue dye. Okay. Let's see if this works. Oh, look at that. He's adorable. I love him so much. I'm sorry that we are forcing you into slavery, but it's for the greater good, so it is what it is. This will also turn this grass into mycelium, and will grow mushrooms as well, so now we have an infinite source of mushrooms. Not sure why that's necessary, but it's happening. Alright, well, that is it for episode 3 of All the Mods 10. Thank you for joining me, and I will see everyone next week. Bye!